Hi, this is Scott Holzoffel. Thanks for joining. We've got several that are still joining the meeting, so we're going to just pause here for a minute or two, and then we'll be back to start. Thank you. This is Scott Holzoffel. Thanks for joining. We'll be starting the webinar in about 1 minute. Thank you. Okay, let's get started. Welcome. This is Scott Holzoffel. I'm VP of Enterprise Sales for Enosix, and welcome to our webinar, and appreciate your time in advance. Over the next 20 minutes, you'll see how to benefit from a better way to handle Salesforce, CPQ, and SAP integration. And to guide us along, I'd like to have our three experts take a minute to introduce themselves. Gene?
Yeah, this is Gene Nix, Managing Partner of Code Zero. We are a quote-to-cash focused systems integrator on the Salesforce.com platform.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Alex Joseph. I'm the VP of Solution Engineering at Enosix. I came to Enosix from IBM. I was an associate partner there in their SAP practice. So I've been born and raised in the SAP ecosystem, been doing this for 16 some years now.
Hi, this is Rob Freeland, also with Code Zero, and I'm a senior solution architect focused on all of the different Salesforce clouds, and particularly on CPQ.
Okay, great. Thanks, Rob. So again, for the next 20 minutes, we'll take you through our journey on Salesforce CPQ integration. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Gene to kick it off.
Thanks, Scott. We can go to the next. Yeah, so why is CPQ important? So many of you, have Sales Cloud now, or you're looking to add Sales Cloud, and then also the new CPQ and kind of billing functionalities to the platform. With Lightning and some of the changes that are happening there's a lot of improvements. The user experiences are being improved, but it's about connecting both your sales and then kind of your revenue opportunities, and that's where we're seeing a lot of kind of demand and benefits that are coming down by now having CPQ and then billing capabilities native to the platform. So with pipeline generation, your marketing campaigns instantly kind of run in, and you can do your lead scoring so that you can make sure that you've got rules and funneling, the right leads to the right reps at the right time to kind of help with that upfront sales process. And then just maximize that productivity from an opportunity management perspective. You can socially collaborate with either your customers or other internal, sales engineers. And then you've also, mobile is such a big part of this. So when you're out of the office, you're on the plane or you're traveling, you've got all of that opportunity and lead data just right at your fingertips. And then what CPQ adds is you're able to accelerate these deals through the pipeline. So, it's like raise your hand if you're one of those customers that as you're using opportunities and accounts, to track your deals, but you're still kind of using Excel to price and develop quotes. You're looking for discounting approvals from, through email, or kind of going down the hall to ask your sales lead for approval, or going manually to legal. So CPQ really helps automate all of that. So it speeds up the closing process. It lets you custom brand all of your your output documents. It also supports, self-serve from a customer and a partner perspective, letting partners sell on behalf of. And then the workflow is there to help speed and make that whole process as efficient as possible. So and then once the deal is closed, now you get into the order orchestration where you can automatically fulfill services. You can notify downstream fulfillment or billing systems. So just a lot of kind of improvements happening with bolting on CPQ and billing processes. And then finally, having that view of kind of, it's not yet named, but if it were to be, Revenue Cloud. So having the 360 view of the quoting and the ordering process with, rolls up to your opportunities, giving kind of that 360 view of the customer so that you can service and support them, for the sales that you've closed. So how do we accomplish this? So we have a lot of customers that we're talking with that have SAP, so maybe there's sensitive data in their SAP systems around pricing, or maybe customer-specific pricing or volume discounts. And traditionally, trying to move that material master, that order, and synchronizing kind of order data, or getting price list into Salesforce, it was a very complex and problematic in terms of putting those integrations and those interfaces in place. So with Enosix, adding kind of the real-time data mashup layer that Enosix provides, you're no longer interfacing that data. It's a real-time feed between systems, and Alex will talk about this in more detail. But it actually just exposes those objects and makes them available real-time in Salesforce. And then as part of the mashup, we're able to it helps speed up the configuration of Salesforce CPQ. It limits kind of the controller and financial concerns about master data management around pricing and invoicing and payments. So it really just accelerates that whole implementation and integration between the Salesforce CPQ and customers that have invested a lot of time and effort with their SAP implementations.
All right, thanks, Gene. So what we're going to talk about here and this is leading up to the demo. So there's different ways, companies find themselves in a position where they're looking at integrating Salesforce CPQ and SAP. And as you can see, there are different scenarios, and there are different scenarios because there is overlapping functionality between Salesforce CPQ and what SAP can do, right? So what we are specifically going to focus on in the demo is this first scenario, which is lead to quote. But that's not to say that there are, obviously there are a lot more integration scenarios that we can think of, but because we only have a limited amount of time, we chose to pick, one of the more complex integrations, which is around pricing. So in the demo, you'll see the Enosix pricing plugin. This is a real-time plugin from Salesforce CPQ to SAP. So it doesn't matter where you are in this, I like to call it the Salesforce SAP integration continuum. We are able to integrate from Salesforce CPQ to SAP no matter how far you want to take that integration to go. And it's not a linear flow like you're seeing it depicted here. It is more anywhere in that Salesforce CPQ process chain, we are able to inject SAP data into your CPQ process chain, right? So it doesn't matter where you are in that process or which step you're in. We are able to bring in the relevant SAP data into that process chain when we need it. So it is just-in-time integration without any middleware and without any complicated development. So how does it work? So here is the scenario that we are going to walk through in the demo. We will start with the CPQ, the Salesforce CPQ screens, and then we will reach out to SAP using the Enosix plugin and bring back real-time pricing based on the products that we have selected in CPQ. And then you have CPQ creating the quote, CPQ creates the order, and then finally you have SAP performing the ATP check, credit card authorizations, and so on and so forth, all the downstream. But as you can tell, there are many different ways to skin this cat. There are a lot of because of the overlap of the functionality, there's a lot of different ways this can be designed. but the key takeaway here is that we are able to inject that SAP data into this process chain when and where you want it, right? So it's I like to call it on-demand integration, right, or just-in-time integration. We are not moving or syncing data across the two systems. We are merely reaching out in real time to SAP using that SAP business process logic, adhering to SAP security policies, and bringing back that data tightly integrated to Salesforce, right? So what we are going to demo today is the configure and price piece of it, because it would take too long for us to go down through the entire chain. But you will see, I mean, that's pretty much where the magic happens. So without further ado, I guess this is what you guys were coming here to see. So actually, I'm just going to go back one screen here. Let's go to products. And I want to start with showing you how we integrate the product in CPQ to the SAP Material Master Record. So I'm going to pick this product in CPQ called Large Machine. And so for the purposes of this demo, we kept the product pretty simplistic. I mean, it's just a product. We are not doing any configuration to it in Salesforce CPQ, because you guys obviously know how that can be done. The point of this is to show you the integration to SAP. So here is the product screen in Salesforce. Here you'll see we have a field here called Material, and this M11 Material Master is the Material Master record in SAP. So when I click this View SAP Material Details, this is now taking me real time into SAP, launching a custom VF page and bringing back the SAP material information that we have chosen to show you or render here in Salesforce. So obviously this can be customized. We can show you, whatever facet of the SAP Material Master Record you would want to see in Salesforce, but this is just showing you how we do that in real time. The other thing to remember is that we have pre-built these integrations. So all of the order to cash common integration scenarios are pre-built. You're pretty much buying them, not building them. So we're looking at speed to deployment and time to value is tremendously increased because you're not building this stuff from scratch. So let's go back to the product information, and actually let me bring up a quote that I've already created. Actually, let me show you. Let's start from the opportunity, which will make more sense. So I have an opportunity here. It's called the NO6 plugin demo. I'm going to click into that. So this is already pre-created. You guys know how this works in Salesforce CPQ. I also have a quote that I have already created. That's going to bring back the quote details. This is all standard CPQ that you're seeing here. So now I'm going to go into edit lines. It's going to launch Salesforce CPQ, and we're going to add some product to this quote here. So the quote has no line items. Let's go ahead and add some product. So that's going to bring up my product selection screen. Like I said, we kept it pretty simple for the purposes of this demo. Obviously, you guys will have a lot of configuration of that product going on in the screen. To keep it simplified, we just have 3 machines that I'm going to pick. What you'll notice is that the list price is 0 right now. This is because there is no price book maintained in Salesforce CPQ. We are going to reach out to SAP and derive that pricing in real time from SAP. So now if I go ahead and say select, it's going to select those 3 machines and add that to my quote, and you should see some pricing information come through. So now this is the real-time pricing coming out from SAP. So because this is real time, we are able to leverage all that business process logic that you've already encoded into your pricing logic in SAP, right? So it's going out, it's determining the right pricing procedure, it's doing the pricing simulate and bringing back that customer and material combination pricing for purposes of this quote. It is also going to adhere to other logic that you have coded into SAP. So for example, if you have some discount thresholds that you've set up, I know that the discount threshold that we've set up for this in this particular system is 10%. So if I go and try to do 11% discount and I hit calculate, it should now stop me, and it comes back with an error that says, hey, please enter discount less than or equal to 10% for line item 10, right? So that's coming back in real time from SAP. So if I go and say 9%, it should let me do that. So it's calculating 9%. So I also have some scales set up in SAP. So if I go ahead and change that quantity to be 2, you will see that the list unit price will drop based on the scale that I've set up in SAP. And there you go, it's changed that list unit price down to what I have set up. Now, in case you don't believe me, I'm going to flip over to SAP and let's make a change here in real time. So I'm here in my condition record, PR00. That's my material M11, which I showed you was linked to my machine called large machine in Salesforce CPQ. Let's go ahead and process that. And you'll see here is my price per each, which is 4250. Let's go ahead and look at the scale. So the scale shows 3950, and because of my discount, let's remove the discount percentage so you can see that change back to 3950. So there's my 3950 based on my order quantity of 2. So let's go ahead and change this. Let's make a change here on 3, and let's make that 3250, for example. I'm going to go ahead and save. Let me just make sure that it actually picked it up. Look at the scales. So that's 3250 right there. Let's jump back into Salesforce CPQ. So I'm going to change that quantity to be 3, and if everything works well, this should now change to 3250, and you can see it changed to 3250. So this is the power of having a real-time plugin in the NO6 real-time plugin, is that any change that I'm making to the back end is fully realized in the front end without making any changes, right? There's no integration to be rewritten. I don't have to write, go back and rewrite anything. I don't have to maintain anything. It's single source of truth. When I make a change in SAP, it's immediately reflected here in Salesforce. It also adheres to your validity dates, right? So if you have the valid from, valid to set up in SAP, it is not going to go out and reprice the quotes that you have created in Salesforce that don't fall within this validity date range, right? So each time I make the change to the condition record and change the validity dates, that also adheres to that. And obviously, I'm showing you a very simple scale. Anything complex that you have configured in SAP, any routines that you've written, tax calculations, rebates, commissions, all of that fun stuff that you've spent years codifying in SAP, now you're able to leverage that immediately in Salesforce without writing any code. And so you deploy our plugin and it just works. I hate to make it sound so simplistic, but it actually is. So let me jump back into the PowerPoint deck.
Okay, so Alex, thank you very much, and Gene, thank you. So just to bring it back and kind of take a step back from what you saw. So if you think about Agnostics at a big picture of what we do, and you think about the data that's in Salesforce, the boxes in blue, that's what's native in Salesforce, and you've got that data accessible. But there's a lot more data that you need access to get that real 360-degree view of the customer, to make your sales and service teams more effective. So the data in orange that is coming up, that's all the data that's available in SAP. And as you saw with the real-time pricing, which is what we focused on today, we enable you through Salesforce to work with all that data. I was with a client yesterday, and they had a great quote on this. They basically said, essentially, it's like Salesforce is hosting the UI, but the data is provided by SAP, and that's exactly what we're doing. So we're about to open it for Q&A. If you want to type questions in, we can take those one at a time. And then also as a follow-up, we'll be reaching out to you to set up a discussion so that you have a chance to go deeper into your use cases. And then we will also be sending out a brief 2-page white paper that summarizes this, this webinar. So I'm going to pause here and see if we get any questions here. 1 second. Okay, I do have, so I have one question here. It is, does your technology also allow for viewing and or updating other SAP objects, such as customer orders, etc.?
Yeah, that's a great question. So as you can see here on the screen, we definitely integrate to different SAP objects as well. So, and pretty much everything in the order to cash process chain that you can think of, customers, orders, deliveries, invoicing, even as far as financial information, you want to look at the AR aging for a specific customer. You want to look at their credit limits. So all of that information is being exposed. And the good news is that these are pre-delivered integrations, right? So that's the point I want to stress, is that we are not writing all of the stuff from scratch. The moment we install, you're pretty much like weeks away from integrating to these common objects in your order-to-cash chain.
Okay, great. Thanks, Alex. And let me see here. We have another question. If I didn't say it before, this is recorded, this webinar, and so we will distribute a link for the recording to those attendees. Let's see, I have another one. What about any SAP pricing routines that we are currently using to perform some complex pricing calculations? Does your plugin take those into consideration?
Yeah, absolutely. So any routines that you've written inside of your pricing procedure to do any complex sort of calculations, to go out and take one condition type and or look at volume discounts or even dependencies that you've created inside of maybe even SAP variant configuration, all of that is taken into account, right? So what I showed you in the demo was a very simplistic scenario. We just set up some scales, but pretty much we are able to encompass all of that complexity that you have in your SAP pricing engine.
Okay, I think we have time for one more. This is probably more a question for Code Zero. The question is, in your past experience, how long has it taken without sort of this plug-in technology to do those integrations?
Yeah, so in the, excuse me, this is Gene. So in the past, I mean, just the design and the testing that's required due to the sensitivity of the data, I would say it's taken anywhere from, it could be 10 weeks to design all those integrations. So that's what we're excited about this, is the connector is pre-built, and, in order, enabling order integrations, it just fits so nicely with what where CPQ wants to hand off.
Okay, great, Gene. Thanks. So I know we're running up against the hour. We had promised 20 minutes. So if we didn't get your question, we'll reach out to you individually. And then just to summarize, I would love to thank Code Zero, who is the leader in Salesforce CPQ integration and implementation. And thanks to Alex as well for the demo. And thanks to everybody that attended. We really appreciate it. We look forward to following up with you soon. Thanks and have a great day.
Thank you.